you're tired of buying land that does not appreciate, this video is for you. Today we are cracking the code of land appreciation in Nigerian cities. There are some land you buy today at 5 million naira, next year or next 2 years, boom, it's 20 million naira. And then there are some other land you will buy today for 2 million naira, and after 5 years, it's now selling for 2.5 million naira. Now, what's the idea behind all of this? My name is Roy Moore, and if you stick with me to the end of this video, I'll be showing you some codes to look out for, some patterns that you look out for. And when you use these patterns right, you definitely be buying land from places that you're sure to get a good one for your money when you buy from these places. Now, let's jump right in. Number one is the airport pattern. Whenever you hear that there is going to be an airport in a particular place of a city, my dear brother, my dear sister, that is the place to invest in, because whether you like it or yes, you cannot stop the land around that area from appreciating. Whenever an airport is going towards a particular place, there must be lots of development going on around there. For example, there must be roads, access roads, because an airport is the place that brings in people from different parts of the city to that particular city. So access roads have to go on around there. And of course, wherever there is good access roads, the land around that place must smile. And if you put in your money in places like that, you're definitely going to have a good run for your money. And now we're looking at some examples, some cities in Nigeria. Just take a few cities in Nigeria where this kind of a thing has happened, and where people bought lands from in such places at minute or very, very seemingly insignificant amounts of money, and after a while, they are smiling to the bank. Now, let's take some examples. Take the Enugu Airport Corridor. Way back as 2015, sold for 500,000 naira per plot. But right now, to get land around there, you'll be spending 15 million naira per plot as of 2024. Right, and what was the trigger? The airport renovation and international status upgrade that happened. This is now for Enugu, right? And this was also because there was the airport, when that was going on, airport access roads typically got priority maintenance, because of all that was going on around there. The roads were being paid attention to. So when government is going on and doing things in places like this, paying attention to the roads, definitely the price of land around such places is bound to go up. Another city, of course, you know of this one already, is the Lagos Airport region and the Ajao Estate. Now, in the 1990s, plots we are selling here for like 50k per plot. Right now, the current value of land around that area is 150 million naira per plot. And of course, the trigger was the international airport expansion. And the last example I'll be giving you for this instance, for the airport pattern, is the Abuja Airport axis. Now, far back 2010, in places like Lugbe, land was selling for like 1 million naira per plot. But right now, the current value sits at 25 million naira per plot and more. Now, that's the least you can get a plot there, 25 million naira. But you can't get it for less than that. But in 2010, it was selling for as low as 1 million naira. And the key trigger, of course, was the airport expansion and the Centenary City project. Now, we've talked about the airport pattern one. Second pattern that causes lands to appreciate in certain places is what we call the university pattern. Whenever you hear that a university is coming to a particular area, my dear brother, my dear sister, that is a place that is bound to experience some form of land appreciation. If there's one thing that universities are good for doing, state universities, good private universities, and of course federal universities, is that they have the ability to spring up a settlement around the university. Students come in, there's an influx of people, young people towards that area, and then these young people, most of them are still learning to start off life and cater for themselves. So they're going to need people who have gone ahead and know how to set systems that will help them thrive in a settlement. When universities come into a place, you begin to see businesses begin to start up around there, fast foods, offices, or places where students can work part-time, where students can do some work to get some money. All of these begin to come around their markets, and all of that, they begin to spring up in these areas. Why? Because a university has come into that area. You see things like hostels spring up, malls, and all of that. Universities just have this thing for pulling people towards the place it is situated, if it is a good university. And now we're going to look at some examples of where this kind of thing has happened and the effect it had on land around these areas, alright? Because of, like I said, hostels come around these areas, shopping complexes, and before you know it, land that's selling for like 2,500 starts selling for 2 billion. I'm just saying, this is what really happens. Now let's look at some real life stories that happened where this pattern of the university pattern has affected the growth of land in certain places. Let's take the Covenant University effect. The Canaan land area, as of 2002, land was selling here for 500,000 naira per plot. But right now, the current value is at 40 million naira per plot. Nothing less than that. Now, whenever I call this, it's like the least you can get a plot around these areas. 40 million naira. And the key driver, of course, was the university's population growth. That was Covenant University's population growth. I'll take one more example, which is the Elizade University Impact in Laramore, 2012. I hope I pronounced that right. Laramore. Now, as at 2012, land was selling here for 200,000 naira per plot, 200k a plot. But right now, it sits for 5 million naira plus a plot. And of course, the key driver there was student population growth. You see what I mean? Whenever university goes towards a particular place, a good university, most of it, just Nigeria, just have sense, have money and start the university. Once you start the university, I'm telling you, my brother, my dear brother. Whenever universities spring up in the place, population growth is bound to happen. And where there's an influx of people, like it or not, there's going to be an increase in the price of land around those places, because businesses and things will begin to spring up for people to be able to survive or live and thrive in that area. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. And like I said, this happens for any sort of university, private universities, state universities, and federal universities. All right. Number 3 is the industrial pattern or the industrial code. These are codes. These are the codes. When you see them, once you see the movement like this, you know, oh, this is a place to buy land from right now. This is a place to invest my money. The industrial pattern. Now, whenever industries spring up in a location, land around that place where an industry is located is also likely to appreciate. Now, this is because, of course, when industries come to a place, industries speak of these. They speak of residents, one, they speak of job creation, and these two work hand in glove. When an industry springs up in an area, let's say in a place where there's not so much going around, the industry is going to need workers, and sometimes some industries go ahead to have some residencies inside the industries compound. I beg your pardon. That tends to happen, yes, but how many of the workers or staff in that industry will actually be living inside there? What now happens is, with time, people begin to develop residential plots around the industry so that people who work in these industries can live around there. And you see people begin to also develop other fast foods and some businesses so that the people who live around there can survive, thrive, and work in these industries and grow, and all of that. Industries have a way of pulling people to create a settlement around the place an industry is located. Whenever you hear an industry is coming to a particular city, state, or somewhere that looked like nothing was happening, my dear brother, my dear sister, it is a place to invest. And let's look at some examples where things like this have happened and the effect is hard. Looking right here, I see the free trade zones. The free trade zone, the example here I see is Lekki Trade Zone, Lagos. As at 2010, before this project began, initial land cost there was like 500k, just 500k. Money you went out there and spend in the snap of a finger. Pew! 500k, well spent. That was what it was costing us at 2010, but right now the current value sits for nothing less than 40 million naira for you to get a plot at the free trade zone area of Lagos. Now 40 million naira is just like, I try to be minimal as possible, but it's way more than that. Right? Now also another example is the Abara Industrial Estate in Ogun State. 2015, it was selling for like a plot around this area was selling for 2 million naira, but right now it sits at 15 million naira for you to get a plot around this area where lots of industries are. And one final example before we go on is the Apapa Oshodi corridor. As a 2018 plots were selling there for like 5 million naira, but right now you can get a plot there for nothing less than 25 million naira. This is between 2018, I beg your pardon, and 2024. So you see, because of the industries that go to these areas, settlements begin to come up around there, and the land around these areas begin to like they're racing who first reach heaven. These are the patterns that you should look out for when you want to invest in a property, in land, when you want to buy land for land banking or just buy land for the sake of creating or generating wealth. These 3 patterns are what you should look out for. I'll take them again. The first one is the airport pattern, 2 is the university patterns, and 3 is the industrial pattern. So when you hear these things are coming up in a place, in a city, in a state, it's a good place to put in your money and you're going to get a good run for your money. I'm very sure that you've gotten some value from watching this video. Now you know what to look out for when you want to buy land that appreciates, not just land that gives you 5 naira after 24 years. And you are not Jacob. You are not trying to settle for Rachel. Like you say, right? Okay, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your investment group. And if you want to know more, or there are certain kinds of videos, or there are parts of it you want to show me, feel free to comment in the comment section, and I will do just that. Until next time, continue being very intentional with your investments, because investments are one way to secure wealth for a generation, to build a legacy for your children's children and everyone connected to you. See you in the next video.